All right. Well, let's get into the week one recap show right here. Um, we got the standings up on the board. Bears 1-0, Blue Jays 1-0, Rhinos 1-0, Scorpions and Vipers and Wildcats all sitting at the top right now. Very excited about these teams being up on the top. And then when you look at the bottom teams, Cobras, Demons, Dragons, Gators, Piranhas, and Werewolves. It's only week one, not no time to panic, but there's definitely a few upsets when you look at this board for sure this week in week one.
Oh, absolutely. Piranhas and Demons being 0-1 strikes as the obvious ones right away, but the Demons playing against the Bears, both really strong teams. Someone was going to get an L. Piranhas being 0-1, they've already matched their loss total from season 3. That's huge.
Yeah, and this and one another big one too. What stood out to me was the 42 points from the Vipers is the most in week one, which is pretty incredible. It's a high amount of points um, in your week one game. So sometimes takes time to get chemistry, but they came out all guns a blazing and raised their level to go against these piranhas. That's for sure. All right, so let's take a look at the first week one game, and that is the Piranhas and the Vipers. Boom, there we go, and it is incredible. This game, from start to finish, it was just the Vipers kept up the pace. One takeaway, one giveaway for both teams. 150 yards on the ground from the Vipers. Phil Clemens looked like a young Phil Clemens in this game. It was just so exciting. And to see Corey Moore, the young quarterback for the Vipers, man. So many new things for the Vipers and new players and exciting players. These Piranhas, man, it's Alonzo Graham also had an off day. He was missing a few throws that got knocked down, and he was under pressure, and it just didn't look the same. But there was one play I want to throw out before I pass it on to the Demons. There was one play that really felt like these Vipers might be for real, and it was Corey Moore rolled out under pressure, and I believe it was 28-27 in the third, and he rolled out under pressure, made a veteran move in the pocket, and then whipped it to the left side to Quincy Drennan. He caught it and ran right like in the perfect spot for the cover two, and ran it right up the field. And man, so impressed by that. Um, I was really shocked, man, how amazing he played. Demons, love to hear your thoughts on this game, but you must have been just as shocked as anybody.
Well, if you go by season 3, this was a huge upset. The Vipers were near last place in season 3. They were in last place for most of the season and finished 11th. And the Piranhas, we all know, we just gave them Coach of the Year for season 3. They were a dominant team that everybody feared. Having them on week 1 of season 4 is a tall task, and the Vipers were coming in with a new look team. But here we go. New season, new hope. We throw out last season's results. It doesn't matter anymore. And I will say, though, this was a typical Piranhas style game where it gets into these back and forth shootouts, and the Piranhas usually come on top of those. That's how they roll. For as much how many turnovers they get on defense, they do let up a lot of yards, and that seemed to be the way this one went down. I mean, the first major topic I want to say is it looked like the offenses were ready to go for season 4 right out of the gate, but I think the defenses in the first half forgot that the season began. The opening drive, the Piranhas strike fast, and it looks to be the same old. But the Vipers kept pace with them. Corey Moore looked great in his first start out as a Viper, had a fantastic game, went 10 for 16, not a lot of throws, but made the most of them. 4 touchdowns, 345 yards, and 1 interception because, of course, you're playing the Piranhas and they're going to get interceptions. They have that ball hawking secondary. Deonta Jones was the defensive back that made the pick. But Corey Moore had instant chemistry with some of these new acquisitions on the team. Quincy Drennan, a name that you mentioned, he got the opening touchdown for the Vipers in this one as well. And I love the way Moore played. He had some clutch throws. His one game as a quarterbacking these Vipers to start season 4 was better than anything a quarterback for the Vipers showed in season 3, as far as I'm concerned. He looks composed, had a lot of clutch throws on his go-ahead drive when on a drive to go ahead by 2 scores in the fourth. On the flip side of this, the Piranhas, the game plan was shocking to me. Alonzo Graham is a good quarterback, but you have Willie Burnside. And where was he? He only ran the ball 12 times, Johnny.
Yeah.
He had a 5.4 yards a carry average. But this is a guy, you should be getting him 20-plus touches easy. Just feed him the rock and let him go to work.
Yeah.
Where was he? Well, they didn't change their playbook. They went West Coast, but it looked like a different offense. Graham threw 38 times. He had a good day and made some great throws, but I feel like Burnsides could have controlled the game a little more, and that's maybe not what the Piranhas were going for in this one. There was a point in the first half, after all is said and done here, that the Vipers were winning. They were up 28-17, and there was 9 seconds left in the half, though, and this was a huge moment. This looked like, to me, a big Piranhas moment. 28-17, 9 seconds left on the clock. Piranhas end up snapping the last play of the half with 1 second on the clock, and Graham hits a 52-yard TD down the seam to Cox. And I'm looking at that and thinking, okay, here we go. Now we're back to the Piranhas are going in halftime only down by 4 instead of down by 11. Momentum shift. I was wrong. The Vipers ended up coming on top of this one. They controlled the game. They looked great doing it. The Piranhas had a chance to tie the game late, but rookie cornerback Noah Childs for the Vipers comes up with the game-winning interception to shut the game down, and that was fantastic coverage on the play. The receiver had no chance. Noah Childs making his name known right off the get-go. Great win by the Vipers.
Wow, absolutely. And Noah Childs, and in the draft that just passed, he had a chance at Marvin Castorani or Noah Childs, and he picked Noah Childs even though some said that he was the second-rated corner, and look at him come through right here. He must be so happy when he saw that. So exciting, so satisfying to see that, eh?
Absolutely. It's validation. Validation of the pick.
Absolutely. So, yeah, congratulations to the Vipers. They are now 2-2 in the regular season against the Piranhas, which is a winning which is not too many teams have a winning record against the Piranhas. Let's just put it that way. So they've beat them before in season 2, 31-24, and now in season 4 they beat them again. That is the 4th meeting they've played every year, and now they're 2-2 in the regular season, which is pretty exciting stuff. So let's take a look at the teams here for the Vipers, and we'll take a look at the Vipers first, and they are going against the Cobras next week. The Vipers here, the number 1 for points per game, 2nd total offense. Yeah, they're looking really strong now going against on the road. Against the 0-1 Cobras. But before we talk about the Cobras or this matchup at all, let's just give these Vipers a little more love. Yeah, they played really great there, and now they got a chance to go 2-0, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. They came out of the gate flying, and this was a team to start season 3 that a lot of people had high up on their power rankings for season 3. And there were a couple power rankings for season 4 where people had them high up. I had them pretty low on mine, and they came out and they're out to prove me wrong on this one. Now we're looking at the way too early analysis of the stats because we have a very small sample size at this point. 42 points, yeah, they're the top scoring team after 1 week. They played the Piranhas. Lots of teams score a lot of points against the Piranhas. the Piranhas usually outscore them and get the W. Not the case this year. Maybe this is a different year, and maybe this is the year the Piranhas don't almost run the table on everyone. We'll see. But those offensive numbers, second overall for offense, third for passing and rushing, great. They had a great look to their offense. That's what is important, as well as the yardage. Their offense looked composed. It was run well. They were making great plays. Total defense, that rush number, this 65 yards from Willie Burnside's, I think anybody will take that. Great game by the Vipers.
Absolutely, yeah. If their offense can keep looking like that, they're gonna and score that many points. They're gonna do really well this year. Now taking a look at the Piranhas real quick, we'll get this moving. And the Piranhas are now 0-1, going against the 0-1 Gators, hosting the 0-1 Gators at home now, but still end up with the third best offense, second best for the pass. But their defense looking a little that's deceiving. It's only one game. No time to panic. No time to panic. Piranhas versus the Gators. What do you think about these Piranhas before we move on to the next game?
Turnover differential sticks out. That was something that they thrived on. They would make big plays on offense. Their defense would let in points, but they'd get the ball back for their offense, and they would just get insurmountable leads. Turnover differentials even after a week. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the season goes on.
That's a great, great point. All right, let's go take a look at the Gators and the Wildcats game. Boom. Here we are. Wildcats versus the Gators. And what a game this was. What an ending this was. Multiple times I thought the other team was going to win because it just seemed to go back and forth like crazy at the end. Tight game at first, but the Wildcats end up finishing with over 500 total yards, 12 first downs, 407 passing yards, and even got 100 on the ground too. The one takeaway was huge for the Wildcats, obviously, but that ending was just an absolute no defense, just all offense thriller down to the end, and I thought the Gators still could have won it. So, what a game. Also, just to throw in there before I pass this on to the Demons and their thoughts on this game, the Wildcats, here's a cool stat about their matchup. The Wildcats have never beat the Gators in the regular season. This is their first time ever in 4 matchups. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, they lost every time. And now they finally get their revenge in Season 4 and break that losing streak that they had against these Gators. So it's a bittersweet game. So they fought a little harder back, I think. It was a little more personal than people might have realized. But man, Gators look really strong with that new quarterback. Can't say that, but he only rushed one time, which was really surprising to me. And also the Wildcats, Jeannie Ingram played absolutely phenomenal, man. Just lights out. But yeah, Demons, take it away, man. What were your thoughts on this game? Wow.
Oh, I got a lot of the same thoughts you had there, Johnny. I'll start it off with comments. We got 2 new teams with 2 new uniform looks this year. Both looking slick. Gators going with a classic looking style, and the Wildcats dropping the yellow from most of their jersey. And the Gators' new look goes with their new regime. Thomas Brown's in at quarterback. Rico Bennett's in at running back. They made a lot of moves in the offseason. This is a different Gators team. So there's those 3 wins that they got against the Wildcats in seasons 1 through 3. Doesn't matter. This is a different Gators team. So this Gators team is starting fresh. I think at this point, if you're the Gators owner, you could have won, but you're really looking for some of these new faces to just play well and get moving along. The wins will come if they keep playing well. I thought this was a great back and forth game, especially to start. Offenses and defense were making plays on both sides. And like you said, Johnny, a classic CFSL finish in this one where there was just chaos at the end of the game, and it was fantastic. Uh, should have been 10-10 at halftime, but the last play of the first half, just like the Piranhas game, there was an amazing kick return touchdown with no time left on the clock by Gators CB Josh Ingram. You think this one would, again, just like the Piranhas and Vipers game, you think that score right before the half would impact momentum. It didn't really. The Wildcats ended up coming out on top. Matt Davis is the new running back for the Wildcats this year in over Rookie of the Year for Season 3, Trevor Simpson. Returns to his old home stadium, ends the day with 104 yards and one TD, as well as an 80-yard touchdown catch on top of that. So a great day for Matt Davis. He's now 4-0 in this matchup, so he's loving this one. Hey, like you said, Ingram, great stat line, 24-29. That's 82%. 417 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
And this is with a new look wide receiver core for them as well, because they moved on from veteran Quincy Drennan, and the oldest receiver on this team is now Troy Jackson, who we all know, but he's only 25 years old. He's now the veteran in the receiving core at 25. Thomas Brown, welcome to the league. I am excited to see this guy play, Johnny. I am really excited to see him play. The Wildcats, watching that preseason game, clearly took some notes and called QB contain as their defense. So you mentioned he only ran one time. Maybe that QB contain defense played into that a little bit. But his one time that he ran was also such a great play. Brown ended up running to get the go-ahead touchdown with 1:11 left in the game. He just saw the gap. They were deep in the Wildcats' end, and he went in pretty much untouched.
Yeah.
The Gators ended up losing the lead after that, but gained it back after Brown hits his wide receiver right for an 80-yard touchdown. Unfortunately, after all of that, because this is all still with only a minute left in the game, his defense could not seal the deal. Jeannie Ingram leads a great drive and hits Troy Jackson on the game-winning touchdown near the back of the end zone with two defenders in the area. It's a fantastic catch. Ingram hits the window perfectly, and they win the game. Lots of great, exciting plays in this one. I want to say something about Rico Bennett. I thought he ran pretty effectively in his debut, 61 yards on 13 carries, and got himself in the end zone one time. Second year, Gators corner Tony Miller had a big day, 9 tackles, 1 for a loss. And then there's another new Gator on this team, former Wildcat Marcus Hollings.
Yeah.
Who's also another one who switched sides in this rivalry, and now he is 3-0 in the rivalry. 3 tackles, 1 for a loss, 1 pass defended for him on the day. Both these played great in this one. The last 2 minutes, we all know the games get chaotic. I'm not going to hold that against the defenses. They played well, and they held their own. I thought this was a fantastic game.
Oh, yeah. Marcus Hollins 0-4 now in this rivalry now. Yeah, wow.
Oh, I said 4-0. It's my bad, Johnny. You got me twice there.
No problem.
I got the stat wrong on Neil Mitchell, and now this one too. You're catching me tonight.
No problem, buddy. I'm listening. I'm listening. It's fantastic announce, and you had me captivated the whole time. So man, these this what a rivalry this is becoming with all the trades that they had, because it's some teams have made trades, a lot of teams have made more trades between them, but the trades that these guys made are like big pinnacle moves, right? So like the big running back and the big corner. So that's really exciting to see them. Actually, there was a couple plays actually where they collided, and it was definitely really exciting to see those two guys go at it. For their 2 new teams. But yeah, what a great game, exciting game. If you got a chance to watch one of these games, this is definitely the game of the week in my opinion. Um,
I
uh,
agree. Big
ob-
game.
Obviously the I really like the Werewolves and Rhinos game. We'll get into that, and I really like the Vipers game as well. Can't get over that. But this game was just an absolute thriller, right down to the end. So yeah, what a great game. So let's go take a look at the game stats, and we will go and take a look at the Gators first. And the Gators are now going on the road 0-1, starting the season 4, but they have the third for points per game fourth for passing offense. Their defense led up the most passing yards, which was a lot. Genie Ingram was throwing it all over them. Um, but their offense looked really good. Like again, the quarterback is just super promising. The rookie running backs coming in now. They're two. It's like a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back with so much potential. But like the reality is that they're both rookies at big key parts of their offense. So they're gonna make mistakes and stuff. But for the most part, man, super excited to see these Gators.
Uh, I think with those two expectations a little bit on how well they're going to do. Yeah. Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah,
Totally
absolutely.
excited. High end skill positions. But yeah, you have to temper the expectation. There's no way you can expect these guys to go out and run there's probably going to be a lot of close games, and they might. Maybe they will, but it's tough for a rookie to come in, and now they've got the road against the Piranhas, who are going to be they're going to be angry, and that ball hawking defense is going to look at a rookie quarterback, and they're going to be out for blood. But that's we'll see. I think he's going to be exciting to watch, and we'll just enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. Now let's go take. Absolutely agree. Now let's go take a look at the Wildcats. Boom. Wildcats. This is going to be a big matchup. Wildcats 1 0 going against a 1 0 Scorpions. Scorpions looked really good. And now the Wildcats coming in with the number one total offense, number one for passing offense, and supporting this tied for second for turnover differential. But I won't want to get into that too early because this is still very, very early. So this is a chance for one of these teams to go 2-0.
But yeah, I know you said you don't want to get into it, but that turnover differential was a staple of this Wildcats team last year, and they're already starting off on the right foot. Takes time to build that number up. You got to have a lot of games of positive turnover differential to build that number up, and they're on their way. This one has game of the week written all over it. Those Scorpions look like the best team in week one, and those Wildcats are former champs, and they're going to be raring to go. I like the way this one's shaping up.
Yeah, this is really shaping up to be a real good classic game between these two teams. And last year it was a 3 point game. The first time these teams met in the regular season in season three, week seven, it was a win for the Wildcats, 16-13. And
Wow.
the Scorpions had a chance when they went all the way down to the end zone and threw an interception right on the goal line. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty exciting game, but very defensive. So let's see if the Scorpions can get their revenge or if it's going to be a really tight game again. Um, holding the Scorpions to 13 points is absolutely incredible. So let's see if these Wildcats can do it again. Let's move on to the next game, which is the Cobras and the Blue Jays. The Cobras and the Blue Jays. Wow, Blue Jays looking great. They had the two rookie wide receivers out there. They had the Adam Hill out there, and they had Sean Rucker. And oh my goodness, Sean Rucker. You're going to hear this name a lot, guys, because Sean Rucker had himself a day. Um, probably the he probably gets Rookie of the Week. If we were handing out Rookie of the Week, he might get Rookie of the Week. To be honest with you, I don't know if there's someone else that I'm missing, but he had an incredible day. Maybe Seth White, actually. I got to check Seth White's numbers. But, anyways, Blue Jays, incredible win at home against these Cobras. And the Cobras' passing game was really struggling. They have a great wide receiving core, but for some reason, they just couldn't get it done offensively. Um, Kept the Blue Jays to a lower score for the most part. It was a close game, and then the Blue Jays, man, looking really strong. Um, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, Demons.
Well, here we go. We got two teams that were coming off disappointing finishes to season three, anxious for a fresh start. Cobras made the playoffs, but they squeaked in and were out in the first round, and the Blue Jays didn't manage to make the playoffs. And then these are teams that are raring to go, ready for the rebuild, want to start off on the right foot. Cobras go balanced, 3-4 defense. They like to switch up their playbooks, and we'll see what we see what happens with this as a result on this one. The Blue Jays went with the Arizona offense and cover 2D, and it looked like early on this balanced O was going to pay off for the Cobras. Charles Hackett started the game extremely strong, who in my opinion is the guy who needs to get the ball a lot for these Cobras to be successful on offense. And he had a 62-yard TD run on the first drive of the game, ends the first quarter with 80 yards rushing, and then the Blue Jays shut him down. Only 20 yards gained by Charles Hackett the rest of the game.
Wow.
And that, to me, is a major reason why the Blue Jays won this game. They're forcing the Cobras to throw. It wasn't their strong point in season three, and it didn't start off very strong for him in season four as well. Charles Hackett, great run on that opening drive, but yeah, he just couldn't get anything going. No momentum the rest of the game. I expect that'll change as the season goes on. He's a running back that can take over games. But Sean Rucker, oh my, this guy, you said it. Huge day, immediate chemistry with Eric Reeves. Eric Reeves is just loving his rookies. 10 catches, 131 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely great day. He also had he was 1 yard away from a second touchdown at the beginning of the second quarter. He caught a deep throw on the left sideline, went out of bounds at the 1 yard line, just couldn't tiptoe it into the end zone. It was a great catch. It was a highlight reel play, even though he didn't score. Blaine Higgins capped off the drive on the next play. Got the touchdown. He also had a great game for the Blue Jays, 135 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was 10-10 at halftime, though. The defenses were both playing well in the first half. Cobras got a big sack before the end of the half to halt the Blue Jays' potential scoring drive, and that's what the Cobras are known for as well. We know these guys as a strong defensive team, and the defense was coming to play in that first half. But it actually, even to open the third quarter, their defense comes to play with 2 rookies. Actually, not even veterans from last year. Rookie right end Cedric Lane forces a fumble on Higgins. It's recovered by rookie free safety Melvin Means for a 35-yard touchdown, and there's the Cobras D coming to play. Blue Jays score back-to-back touchdowns on touchdowns on back-to-back drives. Higgins and Rucker both get TDs, and all of a sudden it's 24-17. These Blue Jays have a powerful offense. We all know what Eric Reeves is capable of. If Higgins can get going too, like games like this, the Blue Jays are going to be dangerous. Because that defense of the Blue Jays held the Cobras offense in the fourth. They forced 2 punts, and then the Blue Jays offense ran out the clock. They did everything they needed to do to win this game. It was an efficient game with enough big plays made by the Blue Jays to win it. I think the Cobras offense let them down a little bit on this one. They only scored 10 points out of the 17 total. Wasn't enough. And they scored 0 in the second half. But that's a credit to the Blue Jays D. They played great, and that's what won them the game.
Absolutely. What an incredible game that was, and I couldn't agree more. Couple cool stats I'm going to throw out there before we go take a look at the Blue Jays rankings is in 4 seasons, season 1, season 2, season 3, now season 4, every game played between the Cobras and Blue Jays has been in the Blue Jays Stadium. The Blue Jays have yet to go to the Cobra Stadium in 4 seasons now. Also, one more stat, the Cobras now have the most defensive touchdowns out of any other franchise with 5. The Cobras defense is for real. All right.
Yeah, that's not a surprising stat to me. The Cobras defense is one of the best, if not the best in the league, and it looks like it's going to continue to be that way in season 4.
All right, let's go. Absolutely agree. Let's go take a look at the Blue Jays real quick here. Blue Jays. Boom. The Blue Jays are now going on the road, 1-0, going against the Demons. Um, the Blue Jays look great on defense. Look at that. First overall defense, first for passing defense. Their offense looked really good. Their running game was strong. And look at the Demons, 12th, let up a lot of rushing yards last week. What's going to happen here for these Blue Jays? Are the Blue Jays going to come into the Demons and play at the level they were playing last week? Because they scored 27 points. Or should I say they let up. How many points did the Cobras score? Sorry?
17, but
They,
they only scored 10 on offense.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, they scored 17, but one of them was a defensive touchdown. So can the Blue Jays are the Blue Jays the one of the new best defensive team? We're gonna see if they can keep that going. But yeah, that first turnover differential from the Demons is no joke, and their offense is really good too. So yeah, that's going to be an exciting game to watch. This might be one of the most underrated games of the week that people might be sleeping on. I think is going to be quite a gem to watch.
Oh, absolutely. When these two teams met last year, Eric Reeves and Eric Watson were just both having a great day. It's the two Erics having a shootout, and I expect the same thing to happen here.
Yeah, and
And but the Blue Jays, yeah, absolutely. Their defensive performance, they're the top defense by yards right now. The you that's something that I don't think a lot of people would have called had they had you asked who's going to finish week one as the top defense. So good on them, and let's see if they can keep it up.
absolutely. Now let's go take a look at those Cobras. And the Cobras in the good old Snake Bowl. The good old Snake Bowl. And they have the 12th ranked offense. These Cobras only scored 10 points. They need to do something offensively. I don't feel like Ron Simmons, in my opinion, is the problem. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't throw an interception either. He had 66 completion rating. He played decent. Maybe they put in Ty Brandt. Not too sure what they're gonna do there. Maybe switch up their wide receiving core or their game plan, but their defense is for real and their defense carries them. So I feel like if they could do something and get some sort of spark offensively, they're going to be one of the best teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, you just can't create that spark though. It's got to come from somewhere. You say Ron Simmons isn't the you don't think he's the problem, but is he the solution?
Right?
We've seen what Ron Simmons can do. I if they try to change up a quarterback, it might be something to spark the offense. You never know, but Charles Hackett, in my mind, is still the engine of that offense,
Right.
unless the quarterback change is in the books. As long as Simmons is quarterback, that's a run first team that plays off their defense. It's the stat lines. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to look at this point. They scored 12 point. They're 12th in points scored. We'll see if they can get that increase as time goes on. After week one, this looks like a mismatch by stat lines because the Vipers got into a shootout with the Piranhas and the Cobras had a tight game against the Blue Jays. The stat lines are a little deceiving after 1 week. We'll see who wins the Snake Bowl. I think going back home for the Cobras is going to help them out big time.
You're absolutely right, man. Those are huge, huge points. And one last stat before we move on to the next game is that the rivalry between the Cobras and the Vipers, every single game now, again now in season 4, will be in the Cobra Stadium. The Cobras have yet to go to the Viper Stadium. Now 4 years in a row, the Cobras are playing at home in the Snake Bowl. All right, so now let's move on to the next game, which was the Dragons and Scorpions. These Dragons and Scorpions, wow, the Scorpions, man, playing really good. And I don't even know where to start with this game. Honestly, I'm gonna pass this one on to you right off the bat, and then you take this away, and I'm gonna play off what you say. Demons, give
Well, I
it.
think this one it really depends on what team you're rooting for. You either had a terrible day or you had the best day ever. The Dragons tried out the St. Louis offense, and we clearly didn't work out very well for them. The 4-3 defense, it was a new. I feel like this was a new playbook call for them. They typically stick to a certain offensive and defensive playbooks, and it didn't really work out too well for them on this day. The Scorpions changed up their usual Denver calls. Season 4, they're trying something different. Indy offense, Pittsburgh defense. I will say this, because early in Season 3, the Dragons had a very similar game to this, where they just got blown out of the water by the Wildcats. It was almost the same story where nothing was going their way. Everything they tried was failing. The other team was just having success with everything they were doing. It worked out okay for the Dragons in the long run. It was just one game. It threw off their stat sheet for a while, but they ended up bouncing back. So it's again 1 week. You're not worried after 1 week about anything, but yeah, that was a tough one to watch if you're a Dragons fan. On the flip side, Scorpions, Anquan Seymour. Wow. Slinging it around the field. 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 71% completion percentage, near perfect quarterback rating. Last season, it was all about Tiki Carter. Seymour was more of a game manager. Not in this one. He was accurate. He was decisive. He was clearly the best player on offense for the Scorpions. Having your QB elevate his game, if he can keep this up all through Season 4, these Scorpions are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They already were a force to be reckoned with last year, but they're going to be even more difficult to play this year if Seymour can get going like he did in this one. He had an opening drive touchdown strike to Sellers. Then he had another bomb to Sellers on the Scorpions' second possession. He threw 3 TDs on the Scorpions' first 4 possessions, and he actually led touchdown drives on the first 4 possessions. There was a fullback touchdown on the third one. Tiki Carter only had 3 carries when it was 21-0. So if you told me 21-0 Scorpions, how many times has Tiki Carter had the ball? And it's only 3?
Well, yeah.
That is an unusual stat line, Johnny.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, incredible performance by Anquan Seymour. He 153 quarterback rating, and Brendan Platt played all right himself. Actually, he went 2-0 with over 100 and something quarterback rating. He played decent when you look at his numbers. But the running back, 16 yards by R.J. Barber. Man,
That's RBC. They were just beating down the Dragons. They were beating them down. They were beating down the O-line. They were getting tackles for loss. They had a sack and a tackle for loss in the Dragons' opening drive. The Dragons' opening drive was a 3-and-out where they punted from 4th and 18. That's the story of the game. Like, it was 28-3 at halftime. Scorpions D, or sorry, 28-3 late in the second. The Scorpions D broke just before halftime. It was 28-10 when Platt found Des Edwards for a 25-yard touchdown. But yeah, the third, you're talking about R.J. Barber. The third quarter stat line came up. R.J. Barber had 7 carries for -1 yards in the third quarter. Like, this Scorpions D was smothering him. Now, the Dragons did manage some momentum late in the third, but Barber unfortunately fumbled near the Scorpions' 20-yard line. Scorpions recover it, and strong safety Andy Alexander returns it for a touchdown, and the crowd is just going nuts at this point. The Scorpions are the route was already on, and a defensive touchdown to stifle a Dragons drive was just it was a knife right through the heart for the Dragons, and it's one of those games again. You just got to move on, recoup, get focused on next week. And if you're the Scorpions, there's a lot of positives to build on here. I will say there were 4 punts by the Dragons in this one. On top of that, John Andrews had a 42.2 net average. Great day punting by John Andrews.
Torrey Sellers, the one. Yes, he did have a great day. Torrey Sellers, the one wide receiver for the Scorpions, was very impressive as well. Take a look at his stats when you get a chance, guys. But yeah, let's go take a look at the breakdown for the Dragons. Boom. Boom. Dragons. The Dragons. The quarterback looked all right, the passing game looked all right, but yeah, they're last in rushing offense with 16 yards, have to be, and negative 1 yards in the third quarter. Their defense is third overall, second for the rush. The Dragons have such a great defense, and now they're hosting a game with a very similar problem. Great defense. What's going on offensively? Dragons, great defense. What's going on offensively? Both of them are tied for 10th for points per game. Both 0-1. Dragons, what can they possibly do? They're trying to do something offensively with the new offensive playbook, though.
They did, yeah. They tried and it didn't work out. Maybe they try it again and see if it's if they can get some success with it. The 16 rush yards from RJ Barber is a huge red flag, though. They got to get him going a lot. But when you're down, they were down 28-3 at one point. It's really hard to run the ball when you're down 28-3.
Sure.
There was a lot of that game was in what could be considered garbage time. So some of the stats here are they're out of whack. Just like when it's almost the exact same story to last season where they got blown up on the Wildcats and their whole stat sheet got thrown out of whack. You might as well not even look at it. Let's get them. Let's give them a few more games under their belt and then let's see what where they end up, because this one to me was this game was so different from our usual CFSL games that it's not worth looking at the stats.
All right, well, quote unquote, not worth looking at the stats. That's what's gonna come out of that. But yeah, no, the Dragons, man, do something offensively, switch it up. I'm curious what he can do to get that going. He's got that one rookie running back they pulled in. They got two capable running backs there. They got good receivers. They need to do something there. And the werewolves, yeah. Let's see if they can beat these werewolves. Man, these werewolves are good at their pass defense. But yeah, let's go look at the other team, which was the Scorpions. The other team.
The other team.
The other team, the Scorpions, they're definitely more than the other team. The Scorpions, their fourth ranked defense, number one rush defense, obviously, with only 16 let up, but they, like you said, were all over them, smothering them. Their offense wasn't really potent, but they, like you said, they kind of slowed it down when they went up 21-0.
Wasn't really potent. Really, Johnny?
Their offense wasn't like really potent. Like it
They
was.
were 28-3. Dude, that's what I'm saying. They were 10th overall offense by stats and yards. Do you really think Tiki Carter's the 11th best running back in the league? Like, these numbers, that's what I'm saying. Throw these stats out. Let's look at them again in week 2, because I'm not trying. I'm just trying to get a laugh out of you, man. I'm not trying to override what you're saying. The Scorpions dominated them. Because of that, the stats got thrown off. The Scorpions had a very potent offense in that game. I highly disagree with stating that their offense wasn't potent. Their offense was all over them in the first half, and then they didn't. They went on cruise control.
Not a potent offense. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah,
Hey, Johnny, I'm telling you way too much.
I'm getting quoted. I'm getting quoted for the
You can
Scorpions.
fire me from the show if you want. I'm sorry.
I know. No, no, no. I know the Scorpions are watching this, and they're gonna be like, not potent. They're gonna have the exact same reaction as you. So that's worth it
That's
right
going up
there.
in the locker room. They're coming to your home stadium next week. They're gonna put that up on the wall. Not potent.
Going to the Wildcats, not potent. So let's see. No, the Scorpions look amazing, and they actually just made a trade between these two for quarterbacks Jeannie Ingram and Leroy Martin. So that's some crazy, mind blowing stuff on its own. But we'll see how that all plays out. Scorpions looking strong after week 1, absolutely. Let's go
Well, look
take.
at that.
Oh, go
That
ahead.
trade you're talking about too. Seymour. Look at the game Seymour just had. And the Dragons are no slouch. This is a team that ended up finishing 500 last year. They won a lot of games. They're not a team that's to be taken lightly. And Seymour looked fantastic. And now you have Seymour and Ingram, and that's gonna be a battle to watch all year long.
Yeah, who are they going to play at quarterback now that both of them played well? It's almost like Seymour knew. Seymour knew about the trade and played absolutely phenomenal because he knew some competition was coming in. He couldn't play bad or he was going to get benched. All right, let's go move on to the next game, which was the Demons versus the Bears. Dun dun dun. The the Demons versus the Bears. The Bears prevail at home, beat the Demons. Wow, William Hillard. Wow, he was just running. It's like he got skates on and everyone else was on ice. He was running around, but when the Demons turned it over, they turned it over twice. But when they turned it over, I believe it was the second time. I was like, uh oh. These Bears are now in trouble. But William Hillard skated away and came away with a huge win for these Bears, man. Demons, love to hear your breakdown on this one. I'm sure you got some extra stats on this one.
I I try to keep it all even though they're my team. I mean, I don't want to over talk about my guys, but I will say, Johnny, I was a little bitter about the season three champs opening the season on the road. They have to wait another week to drop the banner in front of the home crowd, but that's okay. It was a great game. These guys played each other really well last year too, and it was like they deliver fantastic games when these two teams meet. It was back and forth game, lots of lead changes in the first half. Both teams went with their tried and true playbooks from last year, and it really, you said it, the Demons' inability to stop Will Hilliard was the biggest factor of this game, more than anything else. The Demons had an opening drive touchdown. They efficiently went down the field, and they looked like their offense was picking up where it left off in season three. And then the Bears get the ball back, and it's one play, boom, William Hilliard's in the end zone. Now, I will say this, it was a rookie right end in the backfield in that play. And William Hilliard looked like he should have been tackled for a loss, but right end Justin Robinson gets exposed by the savvy veteran William Hilliard, just undressed him in the backfield, and that's 80 yards to the end zone. So that's a rookie missing his assignment, causes the Demons big time on that one. So we'll see what happens with Justin Robinson next week. But yeah, Hilliard kept converting first downs for this team, kept making big runs for this team, and the Demons just couldn't stop him with that 3-4 defense. And in particular, if you go down even to the fourth quarter, you're talking about that second turnover where I believe it was Julian Hickson or Ivan Erickson, got the interception deep in the Demons' end, right by the goal line. The second interception of the day for the Demons. And they drove the ball down a bit, but then they had a fourth down in short near midfield. They decided to punt, thinking they'd get the ball back, and William Hilliard did not let it happen. And there was a third down in inches where the Demons almost had him, but Hilliard gutted his way for the first down and sealed the deal for the Bears. Hilliard was the player of this game. He was the reason the Bears won. 218 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 catches for 27 yards. He was the offense for the Bears. The Demons had a very good day with their pass defense. Dexter had an interception as well, but Morris only threw the ball 11 times. Why throw the ball when Hilliard's running that well? So the Bears game planned. Their game plan was excellent for this one, and I think another major factor in this one was the Bears' defense ability to hold the Demons to field goals, because the Demons actually scored 6 times, the Bears scored 5. But the Bears scored 5 touchdowns. The Demons scored 3 touchdowns and three field goals. Big difference in the game when you look at it that way.
Definitely.
I thought the Demons' offense played well. I thought Watson had his usual outing, 2 touchdowns, including that 80-yard beauty to Seth White that I catch over and over again. He out Seth White. Looks like he's going to be something special there. That ball traveled 60 some odd yards in the air on a play action in the third quarter, and Seth White outran double coverage on the right sideline, and it was just a rainbow that landed right into him, and it was going to be a touchdown. It was a beautiful play. Uh, on the Bears side of it, some great stat lines for them. Tyron Penn, who had some huge hits in this one, he was just laying the hammer down. 7 tackles on the day. Ryan Dillon, wide receiver, had 3 catches for 99 yards, despite Will Hilliard being the highlight reel of the day. Ryan Dillon had a nice day himself. You were talking about the in the Blue Jays game how Sean Rucker had a good day. Seth White only had 5 catches, but he had more yards than Rucker, 149 and a touchdown. Lester had a good day himself too, 81 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. He also had a touchdown catch.
Yeah.
I loved this game, start to finish. Outcome wasn't what I wanted, but hey, you win some, you lose some. It was a great, exciting CSFL game.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch for sure. I remember watching at the end. Now it's come back to me about when the Demons got the ball back, right there at the end there, and they punted it back. I believe just before the 2 minute warning, like you were saying, and then the Bears were able to run out the clock there. Right there, I can't remember what was the down a distance on fourth down. I remember it going by quickly, and I was wondering why they punted it there. They did have all their timeouts, but they also, regardless the decision of to punt it or not, they did have a chance to go down there and go up by one because I believe it's 35-29.
Yeah, it was a good game. I didn't like the call. I think you got Eric Watson back there and you go for it with that with him as your quarterback. You
Yeah.
get him out there to make a play. But it is what it is. They relied on their defense, which really, if you actually look at the way this game played out, it was a poor decision. William Hilliard was running circles around the defense, and you give the ball back to and you know they're going to run. There's not so there. It's you're dealing with Will Hilliard, who has been running all over you, and you're giving him the ball back. I disagreed with it, Johnny, that call, but it was if it's one of those calls where if it works, it's the right call, and if it doesn't work, well, it's wrong. It's if they don't get that fourth down, they've lost the game anyway because that it's too close to their own end. It's an easy field goal for the Bears to go up by 2 scores. So there was some merit to the punt decision. It just didn't work out.
You're right. Let's go take a look at the Bears. Go take a look at the Bears rankings here. The Bears are going against the Rhinos. Now going on the road to face these Rhinos. A really cool stat about this game that I just have to bring up is that the Rhinos now played them in, or the Bears have played them in season 2, season 3, and season 4 now. It's coming up this next weekend, and every time was in week 2. Week 2. These teams play each other now for 3 years in a row, or 3 seasons in a row, which is really cool to see. Really cool. What's the odds of that? But besides that, both these teams had incredible running games. The Mark Marshall had an incredible day. We'll get back. We're getting into that next game, and William Hillard obviously had the incredible amount of yards in that one incredible play where he just ran the distance. And but the Bears looking again really good on offense, really good running game, lots of points. Defense played strong. They turned the ball over though. Their offensive passing game wasn't looking too great, even though he didn't have that many attempts, like you're saying, and is now going against the Rhinos' second-rated defense. So, what do you think about these Bears?
Well, yeah, they didn't throw the ball much, but that is concerning when you look at that. 11 throws and 2 of them were interceptions. That's obviously got to be a cause for concern, but they won the game. So it doesn't, you look back and maybe that's just a blip. We'll see as the season goes on. Absolutely, Will Hilliard, first first overall running at 231 yards against Mark Marshall, 174. That's going to be this is a battle to watch. That's an awesome note about this class. This is a week 2 classic matchup. So we have Bears Rhinos as a classic matchup, and we have the Snake Bowl as a classic matchup. What a week 2 to start season 4, starting strong. But yeah, these Bears, great start to the season. They had a dominant defense last year. The defense was playing hard in this one, even though the stat line ends middle of the road. Demons offense was still moving the ball against them, but they were making life difficult for the Demons. They were flying all over the place.
Yeah, they sure were. The Bears looking mighty strong. And yeah, super excited to go against this 1-1 team. It will be the first game Friday night, so we won't have to wait long to see this one. All right, let's go take a look at the Demons rankings. And the Demons 0-1, now going against his 1-0 strong Blue Jays defense. Really going to test their offense. Their quarterback, Eric Watson, he's just amazing, obviously. And they got Seth White, and they got, Antoine.
Shane Antoine, is that who you're looking at there?
Shane Antoine. They got Lamar Ball. They got all these great receivers and a great defense. They're going to get tested early here and try to avoid going 0-2. But they play different at home. And this is their game where they get to drop the banner, like you're saying, in front of their home crowd. So I'm really excited for the Demons at home here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Demons they struggled on the road early last season and worked that out as the season went on. I thought they played well against the Bears on the road. They just came up short. And this one, the yes, that first overall pass defense stands out to me. But the Demons' pass offense is a much different beast than the Cobras. So we'll see how the Blue Jays defense fares against that. I am excited about the Eric Reeves versus Eric Watson matchup in this one. That is going to be there was a great duel last year, and hopefully it's a great duel in this one as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna be a great duo. Is definitely the best way to put it for sure. The Demons did win that game 38-34. So that's really exciting to see if the Blue Jays can get their revenge or if the Demons can keep up and have a 2-0 record against the Blue Jays. All right, let's move on to the next and final game, which is the Rhinos versus the Werewolves. The Rhinos struggled offensively when it came to the passing game. They did. In my opinion, their passing game, he was missing targets. He was throwing it into the ground. Lonzo Atkins really got bailed out by his running game. I believe it was 20-13, and then they scored, and then they stopped them, and then Mark Marshall once again. What a play by Mark Marshall, running up the side and then taking it all the way up the field, like he came across the whole field. It was kind of a running play that you don't see too often actually, and Mark Marshall, man, proving his worth, man. 3 touchdowns, I believe it was, 170 plus yards. Rhinos running back Mark Marshall, can't talk any better about him. Really carried that team for them. The Werewolves, though, at home, up 20-13 in the fourth, unable to prevent them from tying it up, and were unable to prevent them from taking the lead there. Werewolves got to be disheartened after watching that. But the Rhinos prevail and go 1-0. Demons, love to hear your analysis on this game.
Well, we started this one off. The everyone was wearing gray. We got the Rhinos wearing gray. We got the Werewolves wearing gray. It was the Rhinos were looking to pick up where they left off on last season's good run at the end there. The Werewolves looking for a fresh start. Now you did. I'm gonna jump right into the fourth quarter here. You were talking about the point in the game where the Werewolves were up 20-13, and this was less than 4 minutes to go. Now, I think we've seen enough of the Rhinos in the fourth quarter to know that 20-13 is not a safe lead against the Rhinos in the fourth quarter. You need to be up by a lot more than that. Even if Adkins is having a rough day, the Rhinos find ways to get back in the game. They end up scoring 14 points in the last 4 minutes. They win 27-20. Are we surprised? Because this is the Rhinos that we've come to know. These guys win late. You need to bury them early. You need to bury them into a bigger hole earlier to win the game against these guys. It seems like their fourth quarter magic is just something. It's a real thing, and you got to stop it. You got to make defenses have to find a way to shut them down in the fourth and take momentum away from these Rhinos. Because yeah, the Werewolves D is having a nice day out there. They forced 3 punts, they had 3 sacks, they had 6 deflected passes. The Rhinos went 1-7 on third down. That's right up until that fourth quarter collapse. This is a story that we've seen before, and it's a tough thing for teams to overcome. The Rhinos D also played strong though. They had they themselves had 5 tackles for a loss. They had a sack. They had 6 deflected passes. It was a defensive battle a little bit in this one, which if the Rhinos are perfectly happy with, given the way they quick strike in the fourth quarter, they're perfectly happy keeping the games close. Um, the offenses, as expected, given the defensive battle, were a little slow to start in this one. The first score wasn't until a Darius Burke touchdown run with 2:22 left in the first half. The Rhinos responded with a TD drive of their own on that. Mark Marshall pops in his first TD of 3. Werewolves added a field goal 10-7 at halftime. Rhinos start the third with a field goal drive. And then here's a key moment. Seth Spence eludes a few Rhinos on a nice kickoff return. He makes some beautiful moves on the return and eludes a few tackles, gets a kick return TD for a touchdown, and it's 17-10 for the Werewolves. Now, there you go. The Werewolves scored 20 points in this game, but 7 of them was were from a kick return.
Yeah.
Now, so the Rhinos D held the Werewolves to offense to 13 points. That's a big accomplishment. Kerry Kirkland, he went 16-27, no TD. Adkins, 11 of 21, 198 yards, no TDs. It wasn't a very impressive day by the quarterbacks. Mark Marshall was the only offensive highlight really in this game, but what a highlight he was. 172 yards, 3 touchdowns, easily the player of the game, and easily the reason the Rhinos won. Great start for the season for the Rhinos. Werewolves, they have some things to build on there defensively. They've got to get it. They've got to figure something out on offense, though.
They do have to figure out something on offense. That is definitely an understatement. I need something to happen with these werewolves. I don't know what it is they gotta do. They gotta find the right playbook for them. They gotta switch their wide receivers up. Just maybe switch out Kerry Kirkland. They've been struggling at quarterback, but Kerry Kirkland played really well last season in the later half of the season. But we'll see if they make a switch there. If they ride it out with Kerry Kirkland. The Rhinos and Werewolves now is building their own little rivalry. This is the third time that they've met, and the Werewolves have never beat the Rhinos. The Rhinos are now 3-0 against the Werewolves in their franchise history. And also a cool little stat for the Rhinos is this is their first in 4 seasons winning their Week 1 game. They have gone 0-1 in the last 3 seasons in Week 1. So this is their first Week 1 win, which is really big for them because they play really good in the later half of the season. Let's
Yeah,
go. Yeah, go
The
ahead.
Rhinos, that was the storyline of their season last time. Was they started slow,
Yeah.
and they were their backs were against the wall for most of season 3, and they delivered under pressure when their backs were against the wall. This time they're starting off on the right foot and maybe make their path to the playoffs a little easier on themselves this year.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can get a few wins early here, take a look at the Rhinos rankings right here with me. They are going against these Bears, but they're at home. And again, we talked about this earlier. This is now the third year in a row that they've met in week 2. So it's the week 2 matchup, and the Rhinos lost every time. The last 2 times they have yet to beat the Bears. The Bears are undefeated against these Rhinos, so I'm sure the Bears are coming in confident. But the Rhinos are now 1-0 with a new look defense, second ranked defense, going against this number 1 rushing offense, and they got the second best rushing offense in the Rhinos going against their notoriously good rushing defense. But yeah, really excited to see this Rhinos on Friday night. Demons, what do you think about these Rhinos?
You got it right there. Mark Marshall versus that Bears rush defense is the storyline to watch in this one because if it has to, I got a feeling if it has to go down to Adkins to win it, then this one the Bears are going to take this one. I think Mark Marshall has to show up, and he has to overcome that Bears defense for the Rhinos to win this one. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, these Rhinos looking really strong um, offensively with the running game, but really need to figure something out with the quarterback, or let's see if he can get more comfortable. But getting more comfortable going against the Bears is going to be a tough task. But he is at home, thankfully, for the Rhinos' sake. But the Bears must be coming in here feeling super confident, and I know they've been talking some smack between the two owners of these franchises, so it's gonna be an exciting game. Let's just put it that way.
Popcorn ready.
All right, let's go take a look at the last rankings, which is the Werewolves. The Werewolves 0-1 now travel on the road, going against the 0-1 Dragons and trying to avoid going 0-2. Man, they got a great defense. Phenomenal. I'm gonna say like I know it's ranked two, and you said the stats. You can't really look at that. You're right, but the Werewolves have always had a great passing game. They always have. And they struggled run of stopping the run. That's why they went for the D tackle and the draft and all that. But their passing game has always been really, really good. They got to build off of that somehow and get their running game going. They got a great running back there um, in Burke there, Darius Burke. I'm really excited for the Werewolves to turn things around offensively because I feel like again they're one of those teams that like the Dragons or like the Cobras that have like a really good defense but lack offensively. Can the Werewolves figure something out here in week two and avoid going 0-2? What do you think, Demons?
Well, they could make their. I feel like they will make life difficult for Brendan Platt. Their defense, yeah, I agree. Their pass defense in season three was something to be reckoned with. You knew they made their presence felt. Their offense just wasn't up to the task for a lot of the year. And Kerry Kirkland, yeah, he had a game where I think he threw 4 touchdowns, and it might have been his debut, and that probably bought him some time in that position. But since then, he's I don't think we can confidently say he's been a great quarterback. He's the question marks are out on him right now, and the Werewolves need to get some wins. So, and that's really the position you're looking at offense when you're looking at moving the football.
Oh, for sure. All eyes on Kerry Kirkland. For sure. For the Werewolves offense, and all eyes are on the running backs for the Dragons on offense. For sure. So, yeah, keep a good look at that one, guys, and then that's it for the rankings. And yeah, any last points that you want to make? Week two, like you said, it's got the Snake Bowl. Um, we got the what else is the Rhinos versus the Bears. Um,
Week 2 classic, Rhinos Bears.
yeah.
I'm good, Johnny. I can't wait for week 2. I think it's going to be a great week. Looking forward to season 4. It's already starting off as a fun one.
All right, man. Thank you guys for if you made it this far in the video for listening, and we'll see you next week.